On the last night of Buddhist Lent, thousands stand shoulder to shoulder along a dark river, and no one speaks. They are watching the black water of the Mekong. Then, without a sound, a sphere of soft red light lifts from the surface, climbs into the night, and is gone. No splash, no smoke. The crowd breathes out as one, and somewhere a child whispers the name they came to see. By day, the river is ordinary, wide and brown and patient. But climb the steps of any temple on its banks, and you find them waiting. Great serpents carved in stone, their bodies the railings, their hooded heads reared at the foot of the stairs, guarding the threshold. People leave offerings at the water below, marigolds, incense, a bottle of red soda set on the mud for the Lord beneath the current. Because along the Mekong, the river is not empty. It belongs to something old and vast and holy, a king with the body of a serpent and the patience of deep water. Tonight I want to tell you about it. Welcome to Whispers of Siam. I'm your narrator, and this is where the Old Kingdom speaks. Tonight, the story of the Phaya Naga, the serpent king of the river. The Mekong falls out of the high mountains and runs thousands of miles to the sea, and along its length the people have always believed the same thing. The deep places of the river are not only water, they are a doorway. Below them lies the realm of the Naga, a kingdom of serpents running beneath the rivers and the earth, as real to the old believers as the rice fields above. The Naga is not a snake the way the snake in the grass is a snake. It is a being, enormous, its coils wide as a longboat, scales the color of wet jade and old gold, the greatest of them crowned with many heads. They command the water. They can bring the rains that feed the harvest or hold them back and leave the land to crack and starve. Their cities lie underwater, in a realm the old stories call Patahla, glittering with treasure no human eye was meant to see. The Naga guard it, proud and easily wronged. A man who fouls the river might find the rains fail, or the bank give way beneath his house. The people did not fear the Naga the way you fear a monster. They respected it the way you respect a king whose country you are only passing through. And like any king, the Naga could be generous. Fishermen prayed to it before setting their nets. Farmers prayed to it for the monsoon. When the river rose at the right time and the rice grew tall, that was the Naga keeping faith with the people who kept faith with it. The serpent below the water and the village above it were bound together, and both knew it. But here the Naga becomes something stranger than a river god, and far more important to the people of Siam. Because long ago, the story goes, the serpent king met the Buddha, and the proudest, most dangerous power in the water knelt down. In the weeks after his enlightenment, the Buddha sat in meditation beside a river when a great storm came down, cold rain and rising water that would have drowned an ordinary man. From the deep rose Mucha Linda, a Naga king, and he did not strike. He wrapped his coils beneath the Buddha to lift him above the flood, spread his hood over him like a roof of living scales, and held there 7 days and 7 nights until the storm passed. When the sky cleared, the serpent unwound, took the shape of a young man, and bowed. In that moment, the Naga became something no other creature in the old beliefs quite managed, a monster that chose to protect what was sacred. The guardian of the river became the guardian of the teaching, and from that day, the serpent and the Dhamma were never again separate. This is why they wait at the foot of every temple stair. Look closely the next time you climb to a wat in the north or northeast. The balustrades beside the steps are Naga, their long bodies flowing down the stairs, hooded heads reared at the bottom. You are not only climbing to the temple, you are passing along the back of the serpent, from the ordinary world into the sacred ground above. The Naga is the threshold. It marks the line between the human and the holy, and it stands watch on that line, mouth open, by day and by night. When the temple is empty and the candles have burned down, The stone serpents keep their posts. The old people will tell you the watching never stops, and that the river remembers everyone who crosses. There is a stranger story still, and it gave a word to millions of Thai men. They say that once, in the time of the Buddha, a Naga grew so devoted to the teaching that he could not bear to remain an animal. He longed to be a monk, so he took the shape of a young man, came to the monastery, and asked to be ordained, hiding what he was beneath a human face. For a while it worked. He kept the discipline, earnest and gentle, and no one suspected. But the body was a borrowed shape, and one night, asleep in the monk's quarters, his guard slipped and his true form returned. A brother monk woke to find the room filled with the coils of an enormous serpent, sleeping where a man should have lain. The Naga woke, ashamed, and confessed. The Buddha was gentle but firm. An animal, however pure its heart, cannot be ordained, and the serpent had to leave the robes behind. But before he went, the Buddha granted him one thing. From then on, every man who comes to be ordained would first be called a Naga. In honor of the serpent who wanted the teaching so badly, he tried to become a man for it. To this day, a man entering the monkhood is called a Nak, a Naga. There is a quiet sorrow in that, and the old tellers never hid it. Here was a being old enough to remember the first rivers, and the one thing it wanted, it could not have. The Naga could shelter the Buddha. It could guard the temple. It could give its name to every monk for all time. But it could not walk through the last door itself, held back by the shape it was born into. And so the Naga waits and watches, and once a year, the believers say, it speaks. It happens on the night that ends Buddhist Lent, the full moon of the 11th month, when the rains are passing and the monks come out of their long retreat. In the old belief, this is the night the Buddha returned to earth from the heaven where he had gone to teach. And to honor that homecoming, the Naga sends up fire. They call it Bang Fai Phaya Nak, the fire rockets of the Naga king. Along the river near Nong Khai, where Thailand meets Laos, the people gather in the dark by the tens of thousands. They line the banks, they fill the boats. They sit in silence and watch the black water, the way their parents did, and theirs before them, back further than anyone can count. And then it begins. From beneath the surface, with no boat above and no splash to mark it, a glowing ball of light rises into the air. Some years a handful, some years hundreds. Soft red and rose and pink, the size of a fist, they lift straight up without a sound, climb 100 feet, and wink out. No smoke, no shell falling back. They simply rise and are gone. The believers have no doubt at all. It is the serpent king beneath the river, breathing out its offering of fire to welcome the Buddha home. Each silent light is an act of devotion from the Lord of the water, older than the temples, older than the kingdom. On that one night, the deep speaks, and the people on the bank answer with folded hands. Others have tried to explain it away, with talk of marsh gas and bubbles rising from the riverbed to ignite in the air. There have been arguments, television crews, men who came to prove the lights were nothing but chemistry. Some left convinced. Many more left having seen the lights climb from the black water with their own eyes, and decided that an explanation is not the same as an answer, because the lights are only part of it. The truth the river keeps is in the waiting, in the tens of thousands who come back every year to stand in the dark together and watch the water with hope. Whatever rises from the Mekong that night, something real rises with it on the bank. A belief older than any of them, that the deep is not empty, and that it remembers them. Today, the Naga is everywhere along the river still. New temples raise serpents bigger than the old ones, scales bright with mirror glass and gold leaf, coiling up towers above the Mekong. Pilgrims travel for days to riverside shrines to ask the Serpent King for fortune. The Chong Kra Ben gave way to denim long ago, but the offerings at the water's edge have not stopped, and the marigolds still float away toward the deep. There is something steadying in that. We have measured this river now, bridged it, and dammed it, and mapped its floor. And still, on the 11th full moon, the people walk to the bank and watch the water in silence, because under all that knowing, the old respect survives. Perhaps that is the Naga's gift, the same one it gave the Buddha in the storm. The sense that the great power in the deep is not always against you, but sometimes keeping watch, lifting you above the flood. So if you ever find yourself on the Mekong at the end of the rains, go down to the river after dark, stand with the others, and watch the black water. Maybe the lights will rise, and maybe they won't. But the serpent is down there either way, old as the river, faithful as the river, the king who knelt to what was holy, and was never quite allowed to follow. That is the story of the Phaya Naga. If this whisper found you tonight, stay for the next one. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next whisper.